Hi, this is Jack Weston for ESEAnews.com here in Jönköping, Sweden for DreamHack Winter 2013. Joining me this time is NBK from Team VeryGames, who've just qualified from their group in second place, having beaten Zapso and N-Faculty. Nathan, this is your second time at DreamHack. How are you feeling to be back here?
Well, DreamHack is just the same as last year. It's still an amazing event. The whole venue is just crazy. No big change compared to last year. The CSGO place is pretty good, I guess, but the location of the thing is pretty bad because it's at the it's like very far from the entrance and pretty, standalone.
Yeah.
So it could have been better, but the whole environment showing up is pretty nice. So yeah, concerning CSGO, it's okay, and considering the overall event, it's just amazing as always.
Okay, well, let's talk about your group results first of all. You had Zapso, Complexity, and then Faculty. Zapso 16-9 on Inferno. First of all, that must have been a pretty good start for you guys. Zapso, did you prepare for them at all? Did you expect them to get 9 rounds against you? Did you know anything about them going into the game?
Yeah, that was pretty much the point. Zapso just came out of nowhere, managed to beat Mousy Sport on overtime in order to qualify to the tournament. That's pretty much the big surprise. Nobody was expecting them. Luckily, we woke up very early this morning thanks to the amazing jet lag, and we managed to watch a bit of the VOD. It obviously helped us in a few rounds, like in the key rounds, and we're very happy to have done that because they're playing very good. And yeah, that's big props to them.
Okay, well, you did beat them in the end. Got off to a great start, 1-0 in the group, where you went into the winners' side of the group. Then you met Complexity, and things got a little bit shakier against the Americans. You ended up losing 16-14. Talk us through that game. What could you have done differently? What went wrong? What are your thoughts on that match?
It's been, I'm going to say, a normal game for teams of, for a team of such level. They got us where we weren't expecting them. Basically, we are prepared against the Americans, thinking they are just trying to get entry kills and just playing on that. And it turns out that we let them play, and they had excellent just finishes of the rounds. It just got us totally off guard. We tried to counter them, but yeah, on the city side, this was not. I'm not going to say flawless because we lost some key rounds that made us save every single time, and we had a very bad side. But obviously, on the other hand, they played brilliantly. Their game was just, the tactics, everything was flawless when they were terrorists. They played perfectly, and they had a very good game. So, very good game from them.
Okay. In Paris, you said you were having some communications issues within the team. In China, you said everything went perfectly smoothly. Are you still finding that kind of inconsistency here so far at DreamHack, or have you ironed that out by now?
Well, generally in LAN, we start up, not going to say bad, but we started pretty cool, and then we go bigger and bigger. I hope it's going to be the same for this LAN, even though it's going to be way tougher. But definitely, I don't know if it's communication, but it's just sometimes misunderstanding because we all have our point of views on the game, trying to bring our own thing into the rounds, and sometimes when you're not arguing on everything, it just goes wrong, and that's probably what happened against Complexity. We lost some rounds that we shouldn't have lost, and that's just those key rounds that you lose, and you're gonna lose the whole game. So yeah, there is obviously some mistakes when you lose, and they played very well. Not gonna take anything away from them.
Okay, just on Americans overall in that case, you've been playing Americans more and more frequently over the last few years, right? They've been making more trips to Europe. You've been going to ESEA lands over in the States. What do you think the major kind of differences are in the way Americans play you, and do you prepare differently for them?
We obviously have a different mindset when playing against them. American players and teams overall have got a different way to approach the game. And this time, Complexity, I feel that they were more looking like an European team, relying way more on tactics. They were throwing perfect tactics at the end of the rounds. We couldn't do it much.
On the very last
round. The fake was something totally different, but one round we were just 5-on-5, and they had the middle, and they just threw smokes all place, and we didn't even understand where the guys came from, and we just lost the round. So, yeah, they totally changed our game style, in my opinion, and that's something very good for them because they're going to surprise a lot of teams, and that surprised us.
Yeah, I think playing like a European team is good for anybody, right? Especially Americans. So just talking about your third map to round out the group play, you had N Faculty about 20 minutes ago. You beat them 16-9 on Dust 2. I mean, was your third and deciding game to whether you go through the group? Was there pressure? What were your thoughts going into that?
Definitely, there was some pressure. We didn't want to get out of the groups like this. And knowing N Faculty, Glaive especially, he's like always playing good against us, and he knows what we're doing. So it was obviously going to be a very tough game. We came into the game starting terrorist side, which we are not used to. We generally start city, and we managed to take some rounds, but it was kind of back and forth. And till one point we win 1 or 2 key rounds straight. And we managed to win the first half, 11-4. And coming back on the city side, everything can happen at that point because if you are in a bad economy cycle, you're gonna lose so many rounds that they can come back pretty easily. We managed to win once again the key rounds that made us be okay in the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had to put a lot of energy into it, and that's. I mean, yeah, we had to focus ourselves and get ourselves together because it could have been a disaster otherwise.
So a trickier group stage than you might have liked, yeah. Okay, listen, I have to ask you about the spreadsheet, as I told you before the interview. So if you've never seen VeryGames play at one of these tournaments, I walked behind you. I was quite surprised before your match because you were looking at a spreadsheet of complexity, right? You had all the teams down the left, you had notes on complexity going across the page, and you're all gathered around this spreadsheet, which is something I've very rarely seen from Counter-Strike teams. That's a ridiculous degree of dedication, that level of detail. Talk us through the spreadsheet, I guess.
Well, I think if you want to be the best team in the world, and if you want to win many tournaments over and over again, you just have to know what the opponents are going to do, no matter who they are, if they are one of the top 10 team or the best team in the world. You have to always be on point on how the teams are going to play. Some people call it bad on CS, and in my opinion, it's just something that happens every single time. If you look at any sport, if you want to be the opponent, you have to know them and how to counter them. That's basically what we're trying to do with every single team. We spread demos throughout the team, and we just watch them, write down pretty much the IDs of how they approach the game, how they adapt, and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, it's just not detailed like they're gonna do it at 1 minute 24. It's not like this, but it's just general ideas on how they play and how we have to adapt our game to them. So that's not such of a big deal. But no flame, please. But it's like we're just looking at the games and trying to get ideas out of that.
Okay, so not a trade secret in that case.
No, that's right.
Last few questions before I let you go. So you went to China, obviously you won MSI, beat it about a week ago. Yep. Was that a useful kind of way of preparing for DreamHack, or would you rather have boot camped for longer in Sweden? Because I know teams like Complexity were hoping that you were going to be jet lagged ahead of this tournament, and as you said in an earlier answer, you might be a little bit.
Yeah, well, we've been sleeping pretty bad overall since we came back from China. For example, this morning we woke up at 4 a.m. Considering that we had the groups at 10, and then going on to the quarterfinals later in the day if we managed to qualify. So obviously there's still a bit of jet lag. That's a bad thing. But we want to be the best team in the world, and we want to win every single event. China was the first time for all of us, and it was definitely an amazing experience just going there. And that was an international tournament such as any other.
Yeah.
So we just went there because we wanted to win. That's pretty much it. And coming up into DreamHack, I don't think it's such a bad thing because you can prepare mentally for that. Yeah. And we're just going to take a small nap this afternoon just to be ready for the quarterfinals. So if you think about everything, you can just manage to beat the jet lag in a way and make the best out of things.
Okay. Right. Last but not least, we're going to talk about the VeryGames organization, because you're losing your sponsorship at the end of this year after, what, about 4 or 5 years of VeryGames? Yeah. 5 years, yeah. Is that weighing on your mind at all during DreamHack? Does it make you kind of want to win this and close out your time in VeryGames on a high?
Definitely would be very happy to win this event under the VeryGames tag, because that would prove all the dedication that happened in both sides. First on the side of VeryGames for everything they provided us, and on the other hand with us, because we've been there for like so many years now, but we just want to win events for them because it's been our tag for years now. Yeah, as I said, it's obviously sad that they have to close doors and that we have to get something else. But if it has to come to an end, well, be it. It's not going to affect our mental or whatever. It's not putting pressure on us anyway.
Okay. And last but not least, I'm aware you probably can't tell me too much about this, but have you had any offers that you could, give us some teasing details about?
I can't give any details, obviously. We're mainly focusing on DreamHack at the moment, but we definitely had some offers, and we're just talking at the moment. Nothing is set up. We're just exploring the possibilities. That's what I'm going to say, that's all.
Okay, so plenty of organizations sniffing around. Okay, well, I wish you the best of luck with it. Last but not least, shout-outs.
Sure. Well, thanks to VeryGames and Razer, obviously, because it's going to be one of the last time I'm going to be able to thank VeryGames on interview under the tag. Thanks ESEA and everyone who followed us from America. They must be very happy, losing against an American team. That must be like their highest.
They're big fans of NBK, I think.
Oh yeah, I'm not sure about that, but that's fine. And obviously, well, thank you for the interview once again. It's always good, and yeah.
Well, thank you very much. I wish you the best of luck in the quarterfinal. And to everyone at ESEA.net and ESEAnews.com, stay tuned to the websites for the rest of the weekend, as always, as we'll be finishing off coverage here at DreamHack Winter 2013.